Basically, the cultural synergies between India and Japan form a very powerful bond where storytelling, innovation, and tradition intervene, illuminating the world with the soft power of two ancient civilizations. So our next segment is the soft power of India and Japan. As we delve into the soft power dynamics between India and Japan, it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panelists for this segment. Please welcome Mr. Sandeep Marwah, the President of Asian Academy of Film and Television. Dr. Rishi Mohan Bhatnagar, the President of Lava International Limited, and Mr. Harinder S, Sikka, author and Group Director of the Strategic Business at Piramal Group. Let's explore how these influential figures are shaping the cultural and economic landscapes through their expertise and vision.
Everyone, actually, we needed to change a lot of things because of the time. You know, many panelists, they had to go, so we have to just move it. Please have a seat, please. And for our three great panelists, everyone, कितने कंजूस है आप लोग? कुछ तो प्यार दिखाओ. मैं पिछले 15 दिन से सोई नहीं हूँ, कुछ तो तालियां बजाइए. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And first of all, my gratitude for coming here, waiting, and, I'm really, really grateful to three of you. Really grateful. I'm honored today. And the first question, actually, our anchor already introduced them, so I'm not going to take time and introduce them. What is your plan? You are doing so much between different countries when it comes to film, when it comes to, definitely screen, I would say. And how about Japan? Why you are not doing something about Japan? Are you waiting for me?
I'm waiting for you to give me mic. Now, see, my association with Japan started 40 years back when we are dealing with the Messi of Japan, and most of the things we were importing into India, they were all from Japan, because we never started making anything in electronics, and especially entertainment electronics. Mm-hmm. That's how I started knowing Japan. And a very interesting case, when one of my friends who got a job from some Japanese company for a chartered accountancy job, and he had no approach in Japan, even for a visa. Mm-hmm. So I supported him, that young boy, to get a visa from Japan, and that's how I started building up my very strong relation with Japan from that day. I mean, I'm very happy that my friend Arun, who's doing so well in Japan, he's an asset in Japan. He's got 4 or 5 restaurants, Indian restaurants, and his turnover, he has crossed more than 100 crores. That young boy who started from nowhere, from New Delhi to Tokyo and Osaka. And then, of course, no looking back, I created an organization called Asian Unity Alliance. Mm-hmm. And whenever I used to look at the map of Asia, I could never avoid the extreme right, Japan, our most favorite country. I got into the business, and I created my first organization under the name and banner of Asian Academy of Film and Television, followed by probably another 30 organizations, all after the name of Asian School of Media Studies, Asian Law College, Asian Business School, Asian Academy of Arts, and on and so on. And Japan became a part of my everyday business. So let me tell you, this is my relation with Japan. 10 years back, when we created International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industry, the purpose of this chamber was to support the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister to have best of the relation possible with each and every country of the world. We created 196 country-wise forums, and Japan was also one of them, and we started interacting Japan in a big way. I'm very happy. Japan is a partner with us in every event we've been conducting in New Delhi and Noida especially. Like, for example, Global Film Festival, Global Festival of Journalism, Global Literary Festival, Global Fashion Week, the Animation Festival, what we've been conducting, and then the cell phone cinema, which we've been conducting. So every time I find that somewhere or other, someone or other from Japan is a part of our programs. And I'm very happy that we are building up a wonderful relation with Japan through art and culture. And of course, 30 years back, I gave one byline to all my events, which speaks love, peace, and unity through art and culture. And I found that we are building up a wonderful relation with Japan through art and culture. There's been a lot of interaction. One very interesting thing, one extra minute probably I would love to take, when there were 7 students delegation, when I was sending to Japan, I gave them one memento, beautiful memento, very well made, for the King of Japan. And my students, they were shocked. They say, how can we approach King of Japan? And we have nothing to do with the Tokyo this time. We all are going for a students' meet in Osaka. I said, I don't know. I have a very strong feeling that something will happen. But you carry this memento with you. Now see, this is how, when your intentions are clear and when you have love for each other, things happen. Now this 3,000 students from 56 countries students meet in Osaka was happening. Suddenly, the director of the organization, I don't know what happened to him, he said, I want to carry 30 students or 40 students out of a whole crowd to Tokyo for a visit, for a special visit to Tokyo. I mean, there could have been any country. There were 56 countries, but somehow he opted 2-3 countries in which India was one of them. So all those 7 students who were part of my institution, they became the part of that tour to Tokyo as a special tour for some exclusive students. When they went to Tokyo, somebody suggested that it is very important to carry these students to a palace. This is required. They must see the palace in Tokyo. And all those 30 students, 7 students of mine, they all went to palace and they were all watching there. Suddenly they got a message from the secretary of the personal secretary of the king, that king would love to see these young boys who have come from different countries.
Wow.
And there was an interaction, a sudden unplanned attraction with the king of Japan, and my student who was trembling, he was almost, because he could never dream that something like this can ever happen in life. And he took out that beautiful memento from his bag and handed over to the king of Japan. And
wow, big applause for that.
That memento is still lying in the palace in Japan. So see my strong conviction, intentions, and connections with Japan. There's so many other cases. We have people coming from Japan. We have groups coming from Japan. We are sending students to Japan. And this time I wanted to go, but my son opted. He said, Dad, I am going to Japan. You go later. So this is how we have built up excellent relation with Japan through soft powers.
Yeah, that is the reason you are here today. I'm just kidding. Okay. So, Mr. Bhatnagar, you are in the mobile company, and we are talking about soft power, actually. So, now, according to, though you're a very spiritual person as well, and what can be more, soft power between what we can export and we can take from Japan? What do you think?
Yeah. So, my association with Japan is from last 10, 15 years. So while I'm working in a company, which is mobile manufacturing organization, we design and manufacture, sometimes I really feel sad that there was a time in India when everything electronics used to be made in Japan. And it used to be an aspiration that if you're going to buy anything electronics, it should be made in Japan, and now everything is Chinese. Okay. In the last 20 years, or maybe 15 years, and some components are coming from Taiwan, but the majority of the manufacturing comes from China. Because if you see any mobile brand, anything, there's no Taiwanese brand. They might manufacture some chips inside, but that's a very big change. But we were the SoftBank joint venture. So my company, previous company, was a joint venture with SoftBank, and I used to go regularly for my board meetings. So I just want to tell you one incident which is very touching for me. I'm a vegetarian and I don't like to eat even egg. Okay, and because it was a board meeting, I'm a board member. I was taken to a very big restaurant for a dinner, and I couldn't say that I am a vegetarian. I won't eat this. I won't eat that. And we were sitting on a very traditional table. All were sitting, and there was food coming. And I was just trying to see which one is for me, which can be for me, what can I eat. Okay. And there was some rice. Suddenly the senior leader from the SoftBank, he said, "We know you are a vegetarian. We have ordered food for you. We are well prepared. We have, we have done all research on you." Okay? So they had gone to a level of detail of what I eat, what I don't eat. And when they were taking me out for a dinner, and I was not the only one coming from my company, there was a team of other board members, and they were so well prepared for each and every item, what I do, what I don't do for that dinner. So it was very touching, you know.
Touchy, right,
Because,
right.
you know, if you usually go to an Indian, even an Indian restaurant in Japan, which are, there are so many,
True,
you won't find anything without egg,
true.
okay?
Very right,
And
yes.
they had prepared everything for me without egg, which was very nice for me. So, you know, that kind of, in India also, Indians are very well service oriented.
True.
If somebody comes and he's just, you know, Mr. Kaul made a statement that Atithi Devo Bhava. Yes. You know? Always. Yeah, and that's a similar kind of tradition. You know, when I'm coming to Japan, I visited Tokyo, they were preparing everything for me. They must have taken it from my office. They must have spoken to some people.
True.
There must be a team sitting, seeing what I do, what I don't do, and what I like, I don't like, which was very touching. Coming specifically to the soft power, you know, so there's so much cultural similarity. So I visited few temples there, the Buddhist temples, and that religion, the Buddhism, has so much of connection.
True.
Okay?
Very
And
true.
sometimes, you know, I don't know how much of the research that has happened. I'm not aware of that kind of research. But when I went to a temple, a Buddhist temple, they said, this is the Buddha goddess of education, you know.
Yes.
There's a goddess of this, goddess of that, this is god of this. Well, very similar to the Hindu gods and goddesses.
They are Hindu gods.
Yeah.
They are actually.
They are.
Yes.
Okay.
With
there
different names.
With the different names.
Yes.
There was a female goddess with a veena.
Yes, that is Saraswati.
That is Saraswati. So we call her Saraswati and we worship her as a goddess of knowledge. So I'm not sure, you know, how much of the research that has happened between the connection between the two civilizations, the two cultures, where there's so many
It didn't happen
similarities.
much, but we are starting. Yes.
I think there's a need for that.
Yeah.
The family values, the cultural values, the ethics. There's so many things which are common, which shows to me that the cultural connects are very, very high. And, you know, the hospitality, you know, we might not be able to speak the same language,
True.
but the eyes and the expressions, they don't have a language.
True.
Okay?
Very
they speak and you can easily connect. So
True.
there's so many things which you can
You
do.
can we can export and import.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, very right. So, Mr. Sikka, actually, you have bought the most expensive golf from Japan. So, but what else do you think? Like, this is again, I'm starting with humor, and this is a very tricky subject, actually, and the soft power can be spirituality as well. It can be spirituality, it can be film, and these days animation is very much, you know, so what is your way, like what kind of things you would like to import from Japan, and what kind of things you want to give, like our soft power to Japan, your perspective?
I hold Japan in general and James Clavell in personal. When I failed in one of the Navy exams, I was in the Indian Navy, and this is way back in the 80s.
Can I interrupt for a few minutes? Actually, many of them, because we haven't introduced you that way, the Indians, have you watched the movie Razi? Razi? Yeah. So his brainchild, his novel that is. And yeah, so for that, please give him big applause. Yes. Sorry to interrupt you.
So this communication exam is one of the toughest in the Navy, and the passing marks are only 95%. And I was reading a book called Shogun. And that book was all about Japan. I was mesmerized by that book. And I scored a whopping 35% in communication.
So Japan is responsible because you failed.
So I just couldn't get over that book. And that book is one of the cherished products in my library, and I once in a while still go through and what did samurais do in that time and what kind of discipline they had. You see, being a soldier, you value discipline, and being in India, you wonder where is that discipline, and that is why this present era under Prime Minister Modi is being more valued. Some part of discipline is coming in. We are way beyond that yet. Coming back to out of the first stage, I left Navy in 1993 and joined the Piramal Group, and that is when I went to Japan to learn intellectual property rights in AOTS. It happened to me that while coming back from one of the Punjabi restaurants, you see, we guys get sick of any food within 2 days, and we look for tandoori khana. And late night I slept, and then the train went away somewhere to some edge of the road, edge of the part, and AOTS in the right in the center of Tokyo was left behind, and it was the last train, winters, and I did not know how to reach back, and nobody would speak English in that part of remote corner, but somehow somebody came, some Japanese gentleman, and he said that I'll help you out, and that is how I reached back. Another half an hour these are the impressions you get, and I fell in love with Japan, and I visited many temples and so on and so forth, and realized that this country is worth its weight in gold and more. That is when I started dreaming of making something here, carrying these beautiful scenes and spread it across to India. My first film, which happened to be Nanak Shah Fakir, if I had a choice, I would have taken some shots of Japan. But when Nupur came to meet me and said that I should think about it, so when I wrote Razi, there was no question of taking Razi to Japan because it was Pakistan. But my next film, which we are beginning in the month of May, June, there will be about 10 minutes of film in Japan, in parts of Japan. And because it connects to temples and she's talking about spirituality, my faith or knowledge about spirituality was that I'm a soldier, I like my drinks, and we are trigger happy guys. So we'll meet God when He calls us. But when I was making a film on Guru Nanak, and when we went to Nubra Valley, you can think of miracles. I had the opportunity to record them on camera and not digital cameras. So I knew that if there is a watch and there is a creator, then so is our body. You know, a watch is made by hundreds of people. They have a maker. There's this, that, and the other, from one Patek Philippe to Rolex to Indian Titans. We also have this body, and there's a creator, and there's a creator for everything. So more I understood Nanak, I realized that Nanak never made Sikhism as a religion. He basically said there is one God. And He's the creator of everything, and He was never born, never dies, he's nobody, and He's everything. Now that sense prevailed in me, and the success of Nanak Shah Fakir, it is the most watched film as we speak. It has got 6 crore people already seen it, 3 national awards. It was all a miracle in my life. I went to Cannes, Los Angeles, Toronto, but it didn't make any impact on me or my children. We were told to walk the red carpet at Cannes. People go with all kinds of gowns, ladies and gentlemen. And we requested them that we do not want to walk the red carpet because we knew somebody else did it. This is the only film in the world, ladies and gentlemen, which does not have name of the director. The reason is very simple. I knew it, that there is somebody else who did it. So now, there is one more? All right, make it 2. Love story.
Rahul Ravel skipped his name.
So here we are. The next project that we started, that we have ancient temples out here, and we have enormous richness available. That took me to Nalanda. And then we were setting cameras, watching various kinds of environmental issues and this, that, and the other, and how so many Japanese come here. So many people come here. And those kind of things which are common with Japan, because I had seen Japan. So I thought, why not I begin my next film from Tokyo and bring it subtly to India, and then go into deep-rooted culture of 2,000 years of history and cover them up and intertwine them in some manner. Wonderful. So that story was written, and the more it was being penned down, I realized that there must be some ancient power, some amazingly mystical power that connected us humans to another. How is it possible that we have about 8 Shiva temples and 1 Gurudwara and 1 Lakshman temple, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, all on one line, 79-degree longitude, all of them? How is it possible? There was no GPS 2,000 years ago. So there was something which was science. And there are 2 things which I don't want to explain here, because that will be an IPR. I learned IPR in Tokyo itself, so I have to preserve it. Those some things which are secrets in Japan, which it seems everybody knows it but keeps it as a secret. So I'm going to begin from there and bring that entire mass-scale humanity back to India and try and tell them that there's one thing which is common in Japan and we don't have it. And that is why they are where they are, and we are still struggling. And that art actually began from India, and we lost it.
Very true.
And that is that when they need to sit together, discuss, they sit in a round table. And the most ordinary person has equal rights to speak. We have lost that somewhere down the line. So this is where we are in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Patriotism I've learned from Japan, so thank you, Japan.
This is, I think, this is extraordinary session, I would say, that, within few minutes, even 1 hour, not enough to discuss about what actually 3 of you can speak about. And for that, as I said, we have to have separate session for only film and spirituality, maybe. How is film and spirituality, I think 3 of them, the spiritual experiences. So this is becoming very intense, and as Mr. Sikka said, and this event also, so many, this is the very morning to now, you can see that all great people came. We all are great though, but that is also, that person is making it happen actually. Without that person, I'm nothing. He's making me work hard without sleeping 15 days and bringing all of them here, the same platform. So for that person, I think he deserve more than everything. But yes, yeah, big applause. So the last, we'd like to take, if you have any question, we'd like to take one question, because we are really, we are running behind of time and they're late too. Any question do you have? I think they're finding it. Yes, Sonalji, please. Yes.
Hello, sir. So, good evening. Now I guess so. So, I'm first of all, my introduction. I'm Sonal Shah. By Indian, I'm of Indian, living in Japan almost 32 years. So I went to Japan in 1990 with the diamond industry, but somehow I fall into education industry, and I have my own academy called Sona Japan Japanese Language Academy, one of the sponsors of this event. So thank you so much for coming in. And today's my question is that, living in Japan, so everybody loves Bollywood, I guess so. Here, all lovers of Bollywood, but somehow in Japan, nowadays little bit is there, but are not often see the Bollywood movie with the premiere show. Like, after some times it comes, but then after the nowadays OTT ground and all this, but we really want that. If there are lots of Indians nowadays in Japan also, the soft power of this.
No, I got
especially.
your point. And I'm very happy I was about to actually tell you this, that Indian films have become slowly and gradually popular in Japan. Earlier there were none. But luckily films are now being shown in Japan, now on theaters.
Yes, on theaters.
On theaters. And one of our films, Mom,
we have seen that.
Which has done commendably well in Japan. And we all were invited by the organizers there to see the success of the film in all these cities, different cities of Japan. So it's not that they are not there, the presence is there, but obviously language is the barrier, number one, and then of course it probably...
you can say population of Indian population was quite less before. Nowadays it's increasing like anything. So now please work on this factor.
Noted down your
please
point.
Note it down, Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sonal.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, so I'm sure that more Bollywood movies will be going there, and our director and even the president of our, mobile company also will go and bring some spirituality more from Japan, and we can also export like Bollywood, as Sonalji said, and more soft power as well. And these days, anime is kind of boom, among the young generation, but I think, as I said, this is not, one session is not enough to talk about all these things. So we will, you want to ask questions, make it very short, sir. Yes.
Now the filmmakers thinking something beyond Mira Japanese.
I think it's fine.
Apart from this IPR and all that, Mr. Sikka has mentioned that IPR things and all that. Obviously, Bollywood has more to IP and all that. I am an IP lawyer myself. So can you just tell me what IP you were mentioning? The spirituality IP I could make out of it, sir.
You see, this country, Japan, is, those who visit it realize you can't read it in a book. You can't see Japan on a map and say Japan is like this. When you visit there, it grows on you. And then you feel this is what it is, and this is what should be exposed to the world. Japanese themselves don't tom-tom about themselves. All right. Deeper the water, calm it is. So they have certain things which has been penned down. If I'll discuss that right at the, I'm not authorized also possibly to do that because the script is ready. So it's not proper for me to part, but Japan is also not easily coming willing to come out with its IPR. Like there's a company, she mentioned that, there's a company called Hanma. And they sold me a golf set. I'm a crazy golfer. That's the only bad thing or good thing I have left. And I'm a vegetarian like my friend next. But when you play with that set, you realize that what is that IPR they have with this set that one can play better than rest of the stuff? And I've played in all kinds of sets. How is it that they can make a shaft which is 42 grams in weight and still takes all kinds of bullshit from a golfer? Likewise, the temples they have made, I'm giving you a hint, in those kinds of era, they have tremendous amount of similarity with ours which are ancient. Is that a hint enough? So how did it all happen? What did their saints do in commonality with ours? Why is Sanskrit so common in Japan and not in India? There's so much to do, so much to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Sikka. I know there are a lot of questions, but I'm so sorry. Our minister is going to come very soon. So we have to wrap it up, actually.
So before you close up, let me, because there's no question, so let me put a word to the House.
Somebody wanted to ask, but yes,
Acha,
please
no,
go ahead.
My humble submission to the House, see, we are running Indo-Japan Film and Culture Forum, and we are dealing with large number of Japanese companies. We are dealing with JETRO, we're dealing with Japan Foundation, we're also dealing with Embassy of Japan. But because all the people right here, they have some or other interest in Japan, so I would love to offer all of them that if they pass on their contact to me, we would love to make you a part of Indo-Japan Film and Culture Forum, honorary. There'll be no charge. And we want to raise the level of our interaction and transactions with Japan as far as art and culture is concerned. And we would love to see you back again in the next many more programs which we are organizing with in relation to Japan. So and the choice, I leave it to you. After this event, I would love to see you on that account.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So yes, our relation will grow and grow because we have great people with us. Thank you, and big applause for three of them. And please come here, Mr. Sally, the director of JAL, and please give the, we haven't decided who will give the mementos, but I'm just picking up people and just bringing them here. So I'm the best, yes, yay! Thank you so much. So, yes, I think he wants to take your photo, so let's just stand together. So, yes. Thank you so much. And
Fantastic. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Big applause.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, the second one. Big applause, please. हमारे फोटोग्राफर बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट है. And Mr. Sikka. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for big applause, our wonderful panelists. Thank you, Mr. Sandeep Marwah, Dr. Rishi Mohan Bhatnagar, Mr. Harinder S. Sikka. Thank you so much.